Yay! Spike Lee back, y'all. But wait a minute, did he even leave? Hey everyone, it's Shauna from Pay or Waits, and today I'm going to be reviewing BlacKkKlansman, which is directed by Spike Lee. It's also produced by Jason Blum and Jordan Peele, who you know from Get Out, and then it stars Jason David Washington, Adam Driver, and Topher Grace. And so this movie centers around the true story of Ron Stallworth. This is based on actually a memoir that the real Ron Stallworth wrote about him being the first black detective in the Colorado Springs Police Department, and also too how he was successfully able to infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, y'all. Yes, a black man went and infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and didn't nobody know not a damn thing about it. Okay, so before I get into this, can we go ahead and give a shout out to AMC? AMC was really trying to come up in the world. They got their little AMC stubs, letting people try to battle with Movie Pass and stuff. And now they also, at all of their Dolby cinemas all over the country, they actually screened BlacKkKlansman 4 days early. You still had to spend them coins, but I was happy that I was able to go buy a ticket and support the cause, y'all, especially since I wasn't invited to the free press screening. But yes, so just wanted to give them a little shout out, and no, I didn't get paid for this. They ain't running me no money. They ain't giving me no checks, okay? So I have to say that before I really get into the review of the film, I also want to address the release date of this movie. So I know a lot of people, for those of you who don't know, the August season is kind of the end of the blockbuster season. So blockbuster season ends in July, and August are kind of like the films where the studios are testing out work, and kind of go either way. It could be a good movie or it can be a bad movie. And so a lot of people are like, why is this movie coming out during August? Like, does it mean it's not good? But I want to educate people and let them know that this movie has some significance to the timing of its release date. It comes out during the weekend of where the Charlottesville incident happened from last year. And so I just wanted to let people know, for those of you who might not have known, and many of you may have already known, just to give you a little background on the meaning and the significance behind this film and the timing of its release. So let's get into the review, y'all. So I have to say that I really enjoyed this film. First of all, while I was watching the film, I just like, damn, like, how y'all just didn't know that y'all was talking to two different people at like different times? Like, their voices sound exactly the same. Like, y'all didn't think nothing was up. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's your recruiting process. It don't seem like it take that much to get into Ku Klux Klan, but I'm just trying to figure out how did y'all get hoodwinked and bamboozled, okay? So the standout for me would have to be John David Washington and also Topher Grace. So John David Washington, many of you who may know, he is the son of Denzel, one of the greatest actors ever. And he also is in the TV show Ballers, which is one of my favorites and is coming back on Sunday, y'all. So he was very entertaining playing Ron Stallworth. And so one of the favorite things, he's very charismatic on screen. He's very funny how he says the word white. I can't even say how he says it, but even when I saw it in the trailer, I was just like, how does he say white like that? Like, white, like kind of like, I don't know. I'm just gonna stop. But yeah, one of the things that I would have to say outside of it talking about racism, one of the themes that it explored with his character was how being a black man and being a cop, like how hard something like that would be, and even something that many people go through today. And I thought that it was a very important topic to touch upon, just because it explored his viewpoint as being a black man and seeing how African Americans are treated in America, and him trying to fight for the cause, but also too him wanting to inflict change from within by being a detective, by making sure that he can kind of change the perceptions of people by working on the other side. But how they could be stressful, and how it can also be trying, because many of those who you are trying to give a voice to the voiceless, they feel like you've betrayed your own race because you are working for the same people who inflict pain upon us. So I thought it was very interesting for them to touch upon that and kind of show a different viewpoint of what a black man will deal with while being a man in uniform. And so also too, I think what Spike Lee does well here is he talks about a very heavy and just a heavy topic, and many will say that it's a divisive topic, about racism, and how even exploring racism through the Ku Klux Klan and back in that time, and kind of showing the parallels of how we're dealing with the same things in today's society. I think that he does a very good job on educating both sides and giving a material that is kind of is heavy, but due to the comedy of the film and the satire in the film, it kind of eases you into kind of that viewpoint or talking about that topic of racism. I was laughing, and then like in the middle of me laughing, because I was just like, yo, this is saying stuff that be happening, but it's funny because they're like making fun of it, and then I'm like, damn, but this is like really happening. And there's a scene in the film where they kind of talk about like, this would never happen. I'm like, bruh, but it's happening right now. So I was laughing, then I was shook because I was like, Lord, why is this happening right now? I just can't even believe this. But I think that audiences will really appreciate how Spike Lee decides to tell this story through the satire, but also putting real remnants and showing history through movies, through the organizations like the Ku Klux Klan, and how some of these things that we may take lightly or may not even think of the effect that it had dealing with racism, like how that is prevalent today, and kind of how racism has evolved into a political landscape. And so I would say Topher Grace as the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. He was a second standout to me, just in his portrayal and his relationship with Ron Stallworth, the conversations that they had. It's just crazy because you're laughing because you're just like, this is so ludicrous, but people really think this way. And the fact that this is a true story, like the whole time I was just like, yeah, I can't even believe that this is a true story and that all this craziness happened. And so it shows even through Adam Driver's character, Flip Zimmerman, who is a Jewish man who was playing Ron Stallworth in person when he was meeting with the Ku Klux Klan, because obviously the real Ron Stallworth can't go due to the color of his skin. But yeah, so even showing his progression and how he never really paid attention to racism, but being in this type of society, in this organization, and seeing how they act and how they infiltrate all parts of society, from being cops or just in the small towns, and it's just crazy like watching this entire film. I really think that everyone did a very great job with the material that was given to them. Now I will say there's a little bit of a pacing issue with this film. It's a little bit over 2 hours, and at some points I could really feel that it was 2 hours, but for a majority of the entire film it was still entertaining and enjoying for me. What I love is towards the end of the film how Spike Lee, he takes you on this journey through satire and retelling this true story, but then at the end he kind of ties you or kind of brings you back into reality, because the whole purpose of the movies are kind of to escape into a different world, but how he chooses to tie this in and bring the audience back to the reality of what we're dealing with today in today's society. I thought it was brilliant. It was amazing. I got emotional towards the end of the film. I'm not going to spoil it for how he did that, but I really enjoyed this film. I think Spike Lee did a very great job. I think that audiences are going to enjoy this film. I think the timing for this film is perfect, and I think this is going to be a huge success, and this is really going to kind of, I know a lot of people been saying like Spike Lee been off lately, but he back, y'all. Even though he didn't really leave, he back, okay? So for me, for BlacKkKlansman, I would have to say that you paid to see this film in theaters. I thought it was amazing. I absolutely loved it, and I would encourage everyone to go support this movie, to watch this movie, and to learn from this movie. So as always, those are my thoughts on BlacKkKlansman. My name is Sharonda from Pay or Wait, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and I will see you soon.